Who do you like in the AFC East? Any one other than Buffalo?
I think the Bills will win the AFC East. I do think the Dolphins will be really good, and I think it will be an interesting marker as to what happens in those first four games. At home to New England, and then you've got three really big games: Baltimore on the road, Buffalo at home, and then Cincinnati on a short week on Thursday night on the road on national television. Lots of people saying, "Oh, the Dolphins will be 1-3 coming out of that." I think if they can be anything other than if they can be 2-2, or even better. I think look out. It's a really interesting preseason that they've had. They've added some what the Dolphins have done with Melvin Ingram and with Trey Flowers is they've added really interesting talent that you sort of see veteran pickups that smart teams do before the start of seasons. It wasn't like they needed help necessarily. It's just that they've added into the mix some veteran talent guys that can come in that have the sort of impact that Von Miller had for the Rams down the stretch. I'm not saying that Melvin Ingram's going to come in and have 8 or 10 sacks, but just that sort of impact late in games, especially at home when it's really hot. And I think the offense is going to be really, really electric. And I think people will be surprised at what the Dolphins do.
My semi-bold prediction for this division, and I've got the Dolphins as a wildcard team in the AFC, which in a strong conference is actually going to be pretty tough this year. My semi-bold prediction for this division is that the Patriots run the Jets for the 4th spot. Yeah, honestly, with what's happened with their offensive line this year, and the defense hasn't got quicker, which is what it desperately needed to do, not markedly so. The Jets have improved. I have concerns over the fact that, all right, Zach Wilson might be back by week 2, week 3, week 4, but without a preseason, what's he actually going to look like? But they've made enough improvements on defense that they are looking a little bit saucy, pun entirely intended. And yeah, I like them for kind of 5, 6, 7 wins this year, and I think the Patriots won't be much more than that.
They've got lots of young pieces as well, young players in key and interesting positions. I think the offensive line is very good. I think obviously Quinnen Williams is bound to have a good year. You look at someone like Sauce Gardner, who's got he's going to have to go up against some quality receivers, but I think he's got the talent to do it. I think the Jets are an interesting side who will kind of, like you say, I think win 6 or 7 games. The kid out of Iowa State, the running back Breece Hall, I think he's primed for a good year, especially behind that line. Zach, the kid from Ohio State, Garrett Wilson, I think he will play very well. But they do need Zach Wilson back because obviously Joe Flacco is only going to carry you so far in that system. And New England, I think it's been one of the, there's almost a 30 for 30 in the off season that they've had in terms of, obviously Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time, but the way that it's been handled, especially with a second-year quarterback, somebody that needed some solidity, that needed an offensive coach to come in and help him make that leap from year 1 to year 2. And all that's happened is he's had Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, which is kind of not what you need. They've moved to that wide zone running scheme, which seems bizarre because A, the offensive line was a strength. B, the running game was a strength with Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. They drafted Pierre Strong, the kid out of South Dakota State, who's a really good player. And I just didn't see the need to do that. That kind of power running game with Stevenson and Harris taking it in turns to run it down your throat. Get those tight ends back working, Henry and Johnny Smith. And it's just been a disaster. It's really been a disaster. Nothing's worked. I saw that Mac Jones talked the other day about how they've ironed out some of the issues, but his numbers in the preseason were really poor. In terms of them being able to move the ball, it wasn't very good. And defensively, like you say, they just look a little bit slow. Christian Barmore's been the star of camp, but even the secondary, when you're talking up Jalen Mills as a kind of he's the guy. That's, you're in trouble if Jalen Mills is the guy. I just don't foresee a particularly good season. And I think it's, this is year after year of really bad Patriot drafts that are coming back to bite them on the backside. And, when you're giving up on guys, as they have done over the year, whether that's N'Keal Harry or Jojuan Williams, or year after year, early picks that just haven't panned out, sooner or later that comes back calling.
My kind of other slightly boldish prediction is Sauce Gardner will be Defensive Rookie of the Year, purely because not only do I think he's an excellent player, but I think it's kind of ignored that, you've got Mac Jones and Tua both finished with double-digit picks last season, but Josh Allen had the 3rd most interceptions in the NFL last year. Everyone was so excited about how he had the improved accuracy and everything, but that is a conference that likes to turn the ball over, and I think he could end up making enough splashy plays to nab that title.